Hello, folks, and once again, welcome to the Glenwood Football Show featuring Coach Jason Gibson. I am your host, Ronald Frazier, from the East Alabama Citizen, and you are watching CTV Beam and the wonderful idea that we are going to talk about Glenwood football. Coach, after the game, when we talked about it for my newspaper article, you acknowledged special teams and how, could you talk about the plays that they made and maybe some of the players?
Well, we've already made more plays on special teams this year. I think I made all of last year combined. I mean, I remember last year we had a big return with Carson Allison in the playoff game, but I think Cameron had a huge punt return for a touchdown. Navy Harris had another one returned, which, there was a bad penalty. I've never seen a face mask on the offense, but.
I actually saw what happened, Coach, and if I might interject, I think what he did is when he tried to stiff arm the guy, that I don't know if it was actually he really meant to, but he got his fingers caught in the face mask.
I still don't like the call.
I understand, and I can appreciate it.
But still, we're getting the blocking, and we put the effort in during the week in practice. Every day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, throughout the week, we have a certain special teams circuit, or kind of like a little circuit that we go through for a kickoff team, and then one day we do a circuit for kickoff return. And I try to put the effort into the special teams and preach to those guys, and we're doing a good job. And of course, you've got guys back there like John Burnett and O'Neal and Harris and Bonds. Those guys can all take the ball to the house. So it worked out well for us, and we're scoring special. I wouldn't punt to us right now. I'd rather just throw a pick on third down than punt the ball to one of those guys, because they're taking it to the house. So we're doing well with it, and I'm excited for them.
And also, let me mention this about special teams, because sometimes it does get missed out. Your kicker is perfect on extra points for the year.
Oh, yes.
And I know over half, and I haven't got the exact figure, but most of his kickoffs are going into the end zone.
I think it's about 75% are touchbacks, which is pretty good. He was 43 or 46 last year on extra points. I mean, he was money, and he's doing a really good job. Thomas I think, is a Division I kicker, and he's a great student too, a really good student. We talked about that before.
Yes. So I think that's a good thing, because a lot of people forget that special teams can make or break and really decide the result of a football game.
Well, I mean, there's no play in my playbook that has an average of 10 yards per play. If you look at a punt return or a kickoff return, that's a huge change of field. Even if it's a bad return, you only get 8 yards. Still an 8-yard play. I mean, I'd love to have a play in my playbook where I know I'm going to get 8 yards almost every time. And those are huge. And if you take advantage of it, it can shift the game.
Okay. Well, you've had 2 straight games now with no punts, which says a good positive thing about your offense. And I'm just asking because who punts for you?
Tater. Don't ask me how to say Tater's last name. I have no idea. It's Nathaniel Truspick. He'll kill me. Everybody just calls him Tater. But look, I'm not the guy. I hate having a big, huge lineman as a punter, but he's the best punter we have. I mean, him and Camacho, and I put him out there, and he likes doing it. But he's actually had a bad foot the last 2 weeks, and he's been in a boot every day at practice. So he wears a boot all day at school, and then for the game we just tape him up. So it's a good thing that he's not punting right now. So hopefully we can continue that streak. That is a really good stat that I would love to talk about every week, is that we didn't punt.
I think that's very impressive, because that means that you're executing on offense. But before we talk about that, let's talk about your defense. I think defensively, your guys, especially the front 7, are shutting down the opponents. The official, because I talked with the statistician and I was keeping stats too, the total for the game for Northside Methodist was -3 yards. Total offense for the game.
They had -3 yards for the whole game?
The whole game, and their longest play of scrimmage was 7 yards.
Wow. Well, yeah, the defense is playing well, but Northside was they were playing a lot of sophomores and juniors, so it's not like we were playing the best team in the league. They were, they're struggling from a roster standpoint, but you do what you're supposed to do against the teams you're supposed to do it against. I mean, you don't want a team that's got a bunch of sophomores getting 100 yards rushing. They're supposed to get -3 yards rushing if we're a good team. So I'll take it. They're doing a great job. One of the things I had a friend of mine who's kind of a coach slash football guy, and he said one thing he noticed in the game, he noticed guys flying to the ball. And that's what's important. Whether they got -3 yards or 300 or whatever, we have players moving to the football at the snap, and that's what you want to preach to high school kids is pursuit, pursuit, pursuit. And they're doing a good job of it, and they're getting to the ball.
Well, certainly, and they did that the week before against Calvary Christian, which was also the Knights. So obviously, Knights are not doing well.
Is there anybody else with Knights on our schedule?
I don't know, but if they are, they're actually, I think Tuscaloosa might be Knights.
Oh, that would be a really good game. I would love to be able to shut them to -3 yards.
Yeah, but that was the thing is, there's been a grand total of 7 points against you in the last 2 games. So.
Well, and I think last year Calvary scored, what, 17 or I don't know what they scored.
It was 22-17, I think.
22-17. I think Northside scored 2 touchdowns or a touchdown. So we're making those improvements. If you look at compare the games from this year, even the Monroe game, we weren't even at, I'm not going to say full tilt, but we were just kind of learning each other because it was our first. We didn't know anything about each other. Well, these transfers, and if you look at the points against this year, it's significant. Well, I think we've cut it in half.
Oh, correct.
Which we needed to do, and I'd like to continue that streak. Just keep cutting the points in half. I don't think where we need to be offensively yet. We're getting there, but if we can continue to cut those points in half in every game we play, I mean, it's put us in a better position. I like where we're at defensively. Josh does a really good job, and I like our philosophy, what we're trying to do. So far, so good.
Yeah, your offense now, we will talk about that because obviously when you score 56 points in a game, you've got a team that's putting points on the board, had some big plays, and you had mentioned in previous weeks that you wanted to get Christian Clausell involved in the offense and Aiden Rhodes, your tight end, and that happened.
Yeah, they did. They all had touchdown catches, didn't they? Yes. I think Aiden had one, Christian had one, Cam had 2.
With the punt return.
With the punt return. But, we wanted to, regardless of who we were playing, I didn't look at the schematics of the game and say, okay, Northside Methodist is giving us this, so we're going to do this. I looked at it as what can we do to improve the Gators. And I knew we needed to work on throwing the ball and throwing it downfield and giving these guys a chance to make plays and getting them comfortable. And we did a good job. Again, not the strongest team you're going to play all year, but we did what we were supposed to do against teams you're supposed to do it against, and the guys made the plays. So the offense is starting to click. I do like the big play capability. I think at any point we could score in one play, which is great to have in high school, especially with Cam, and you're going to see a little bit of Navy Harris on offense. I can tell you that. I mean, he's touched 2 punt returns for 2 touchdowns. So that means he needs to carry the ball a little bit. So you'll see him on offense as well. Right,
and even though he didn't get a chance to catch the ball, I know that's one of the things that you had mentioned too, is you still have another weapon in John Burnett, and not only running the ball, but also his receiving skills are there as well.
John does everything. John's a football player. He understands it. He gets it. He's smart. He can block, he can run, he can catch, he can do punt returns, he can do kickoff returns. I mean, you can get John to do everything. So when you have that capability and you have the other players that you have, I mean, I've got 2 sophomores that can play. They just can't get on the field yet. And I got Trevor Crisco and Mason Hurd that are good football players. And when those guys are seniors, watch out. So I'm excited that they get the chance to kind of be and watch and learn from some of these older guys so they can take it to the next level next year too as well.
Yeah, the other thing I wanted to mention, and I'm sure that you can profoundly discuss this, is Bryce Valero looks like he's getting a handle on what to do and how to execute on the offense. I thought, even though, again, I know the opponent was not as strong as you want, but he seemed to be much more comfortable in his role of running that offense.
Still got to make decisions. Regardless of who you're playing, you still have to make the decision. That's my number one. Well, I got 4 traits as a quarterback, and we talk about them, but number 1 is being a leader. Number 2 is making decisions. It doesn't matter what your arm strength is, how fast you can throw, or how far you can throw a football. If you can't make the decision of where to go with the ball, you're not a good quarterback. Bottom line. And his decision-making is becoming better. That's what's helping out.